This is we own. You hear what the song says? No retreat, no surrender, because it's here we go die. Guyana is we own. Essequibo is we own. And that's the message we want to remind you of tonight. That this land called Guyana is the land that our foreparents came to, were brought to. In my case, came to in some other cases, but they all arrived here. And though they came in different ships, we find ourselves in this place called Guyana. And it is ours. And we want to be very, very clear that it is not up for sale, it is not up for negotiating, it is not up for bargaining away. And so while I want to say that we as the opposition have agreed with the government in principle, because neighbors must talk, there is to be no negotiation as it relates to the matter of the territorial controversy. Essequibo is not up for negotiation. Now, I am mindful that there are people watching, from the PPP, because they have people paying keen attention to try to take what we say out of context. So I'll try to go slowly so that they can understand me. I will not be before you long because most of my colleagues have touched on the issues and the topical issues. But I want to bring a couple of things to our attention. The first one is, I'll be very honest with y'all. I am sick and tired of the PPPC administration. I am sick and tired of the corruption. I am sick and tired of the blackout every day. I am sick and tired about the collapse of the healthcare system. I am sick and tired about the collapse of the education system. I am sick and tired about the corruption that eats away at our resources and continues to rob the hard-working men and women of Guyana of the good life that they could enjoy. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so whilst we could stand here tonight, and yes, the matter for discussion is the spurious claim that Venezuela has and is proposing over our Essequibo, I want to say to us that the time is now for us to begin to mobilize for the removal of the PPPC administration. Enough is enough. And the people of Guyana are sick and tired of being sick and tired. There is no talking to these people. There is no negotiating with these people. And I want to say something very, very clearly. We committed and we continue to be committed to standing in the defense of our territorial integrity and our sovereignty. But the PPPC speaks about unity, but they cannot practice it. And I'll give you an example. When this matter began to escalate, a number of our MPs in the opposition, remember, we do not control the resources that they control. And so we said to ourselves, what can we do to be of assistance and to begin to foster and to fan that flame of national unity in this country? In my own capacity and as Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister, I said, you know what? I am going to go into schools to speak particularly to our 4th and 5th formers, those who are about to leave school, so that they have an idea as to what is going on with this controversy. I did it for 1 week. I did it for a 2nd week. The 3rd week, the Ministry of Education had an emergency meeting to discuss my going into the schools. And you know what? They said to the head teachers that I could not go into the schools to educate our children on this controversy. And they have the temerity to come to tell us about being united. And you know what? You know when I realized that these people are beyond redemption? When today in the National Assembly, Priya Manikchan stood up and attempted to tell us what we can and cannot say from our political platform. When every Thursday, you have a particular man who sits and for hours spews the vilest of comments, calling our colleagues low life, and Priya Manikchan believes that she can sit and prescribe what we can and cannot say. We're not having it. We are not having it. On the issue of this controversy, today again, we asked in the National Assembly, what are the mechanisms in place to track these Venezuelan migrants in our country? And I want to be clear on something. We have been saying from time immemorial, that yes, we will treat migrants with respect. We must do it. But I've been very clear that guests must obey the rules of the house. You cannot run up in here and do what you want. You cannot run up in here and put out whatever map you want with our Essequibo included in your Venezuela. That is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And the PPPC believe that they're the masters of spin. And so whenever you attempt to point out these things to them, they accuse you of xenophobia. But the people of Guyana got sense. The people of Guyana are not going to be manipulated by the PPP into silence, because that is what they want to do. They want to silence us under this guise of being united. Well, we are not having it. And I will say something controversial. You could say whatever you want about the man on our, that's attempting to appropriate our Essequibo, but he has consulted. He had a referendum. And I want it to be very clear that Irfan Ali must know that we have been very clear that there is to be no negotiation or deliberation as it relates to our Essequibo. And we have to be clear about that. Brothers and sisters, we have been calling from 2020 to now for a very clear immigration policy for our country. The PPPC has failed to produce one. And why is an immigration policy important? It is important because as a country that we are boasting is the fastest growing economy in the world and so rife with business opportunities, what does that mean? It means that people will be coming. And so how do we protect the Guyanese who were born here, who grew here, who struggled here for all the years? How do we protect them? How do we protect their rights? The government seems more interested in protecting Venezuelan migrants than they are about the interests of the people of Guyana. And I say that without apology, because today in the National Assembly, I asked the minister responsible for Home Affairs, I said, is there a system where we can have these persons come, they register, so that we can track them, they provide addresses, forwarding addresses. If they're leaving the regions and moving, authorities must know. I want to be very clear. What we are proposing here is law in other countries. Venezuelans are going to the U.S. and in the U.S. they happily comply with the restrictions that are placed of registration and of documentation. Why should Guyana be any different? Are the Guyanese people not deserving of the same respect and courtesy? Well, as the opposition, we are going to insist that Guyanese be treated with the dignity that we deserve. Yes, there are Guyanese in every country in the world. There are Guyanese in every country of the world, but they're not Guyanese who go to claim 2/3 of any country. And so it is a fallacious comparison that they keep making. Venezuela has indicated that it is an adversary. And it is asinine and it is irresponsible for us to act as if they have not so declared. I want to be clear, because they're going to come to say, oh, we do not like Venezuelans. Every Venezuelan brother and sister under the sound of my voice must know that if you are coming here to work hard and to abide by the rules and the laws of this nation, you have nothing to fear. If you are here and you are legally here and you have submitted yourself to the registration process as you are legally required to do, you have nothing to fear from us. But what we will not condone is a government that believes that our country must be a free-for-all. It cannot be a free-for-all. It cannot be a free-for-all. We need immediately to promulgate a comprehensive immigration policy. In 2021, I called for it when they were revising the Registration of Births and Deaths Act. I said we have to have an immigration policy, or else everybody will believe that they can run up in here. And because our laws are so lax, brothers and sisters, I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me. We cannot have a situation where a country of 30 million is on our west. And they believe that they are entitled to 2/3 of our country. And we just allow a situation where people can come and in 2 years they can be on our voters list. Imagine with me people who are of a certain mindset being elected to our local government, to our NDCs and to our RDCs. Imagine that with me. And this is where you see the irresponsibility of the People's Progressive Party Civic. Because for the sake of political expediency, they have demonstrated that they are willing to sell the birthright of Guyanese. Well, I say to us tonight, we are not having it. We are not having it. We have had to fight and to struggle for information as to where these migrants are, what villages they are located. Today in the National Assembly, the Minister with responsibility for Home Affairs produced some numbers to us that suggested that there are no migrants in Region 10. Now as a Linden girl, when I go home, I see otherwise. And so there is clearly a gap between what they are saying to us in Parliament and what the reality on the ground is. And we, as responsible Guyanese, must hold this government accountable for providing the information that Guyanese rightfully deserve. This is our country. This is our land now. And we're going to make it somehow. We will bend like a bow, but we will not break. And this government must give us the information that we need to make firm decisions. We have called for a border commission for exactly that reason. Brothers and sisters, we are in the big leagues now, and it is time that we have a government that can demonstrate to the world that we are capable of operating in the big leagues. And I want to say to you that that is not the People's Progressive Party civic government. They have demonstrated their incompetence, painting the flag on the ground, spelling commission with 3 M's. What more do we need to understand that they're not ready for prime time? The APNUAFC government has demonstrated over the last 5 years that we were in power that we are capable, that we are ready, and that we are willing to provide a good life that every Guyanese deserves. And so I want to say to you, my brothers and sisters, the time for sitting down and agonizing is over. It is time to mobilize. It is time that we stop agonizing and begin to focus on mobilizing. We must understand that the government is the servant of the people, and they are not authorized to give away anything that we did not authorize them to give away. And so while I want to be clear that when it comes to the integrity of these here 83,000 square miles. We will fight to the bitter end to protect it. We will stand. We will not falter. I want it to be understood that we will hold the PPP government accountable. As a responsible opposition, we are going to hold them accountable. And that means that if they are slipping up, we are going to point out where they are slipping up. They are not going to use this pseudo-unity to shut us up about the incompetence. Barra Jack Deo doesn't shut up on a Thursday. He says whatever he wants. But we will speak responsibly because we are better. And this is what I say to people when they ask me, like my colleague David said, MP, these people are so corrupt. Why are we supporting them on this matter of our border? Because Guyana belongs to us. And because the PPP Civic is not the standard bearer for any kind of decent operation. And because we are better, we must be better, we must do better, and we must act better. Because we are better. We are better for this nation, we are better for the people of Guyana, and we will show them, come 2024, come 2025, that we are serious about taking this nation forward. We fed up, we sick, we are tired, and we have had enough. So my brothers and sisters, I say to you tonight, you are being put on notice that it is time for us to begin to mobilize. And we will take our country back from these corrupt elements. We will take our country back from these incompetent elements. We will take our country back and we will show Guyana. We will show Guyana what Guyana's sons and daughters can be. And so I want to thank you tonight for coming out. I want to thank you tonight for sharing your time with us. I want to thank you for your continuous support of the parliamentary opposition, and I want you to know that we are here with you. We will continue to be here with you. We will not jet off to Dubai and other exotic locations, but when the rubber reaches the road, we are going to be here. And so we want to say loud and clear, Essequibo belongs to Guyana. We ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no. We ain't giving up no. That belong to we. Not one blue, not one rice grain, not one karass, not a blade of grass. Long live the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. God bless you.